At this point in Buenos Aires, we have fallen in love with the city and have really gotten to immerse ourselves. We've gotten to know the food, we've gotten to dance tango, but we can't say we came all this way and didn't see the most important sights.
That's right. So right now we are going to the iconic places in the city of Buenos Aires, and what better place to start than the iconic Obelisco.
I was shocked to see that there's an obelisk here in Buenos Aires, but it turns out it is one of the most iconic symbols of the city.
It is. Actually, at the beginning, the people from Buenos Aires didn't like this place, but right now they use it to celebrate important things or also social movements.
Yeah, like today they're celebrating the day of recycling, so the bottom is covered in recyclable material.
And you will ask why this is an obelisk over here. This is the most important street or avenue in Argentina. It used to be a church, San Nicola de Bari. And here they said they put for the first time the Argentinian flag.
Oh.
And to remember the place, because they built this street and they destroyed the church, now they put this obelisk.
Well, that is certainly one way to remember it.
An important and tall way to remember it.
There's another spot nearby that we want to see too. It's just a block away, so what do you say we head over there?
Let's go.
Buenos Aires is a city that's got no shortage of grand architecture. Up ahead, the Teatro Colón awaits us, an opera house that stands as a testament to the city's golden age. I mean, look at this place. The outside makes you think of Europe's grand opera houses. It's seen the likes of some of the greatest virtuosos in opera since it opened in 1908. Oh, and it just so happens to be the most acoustically perfect stage on the planet. But for us, we're sticking to the cheap seats, outside, and the view isn't half bad.
I really like it.
It's cool.
Right now we were just watching a building that combines the new and the old.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that's kind of a big takeaway from our time here in Buenos Aires. I noticed when we walk down the street, everything is kind of a little bit different. Like it's not all going to look exactly in the same style. There's a lot of that in every neighborhood we've been so far.
Right. And that's part of the magic of Buenos Aires.
Yeah, kind of a little mishmash of not only different eras, but also different cultures as well. That's right. Kind of reflects this country as a whole.
We decide to head to another spot nearby, and we'll take any opportunity to get lost down these grandiose, flamboyant, and unabashedly opulent boulevards. It's easy to see why people call this city the Paris of South America. But honestly, we hate when people make these types of comparisons. This is Buenos Aires, and trust us, no one does it quite like Buenos Aires.
But as we step into Plaza de Mayo, the architecture is the last thing in our minds. This place is dripping in history. I mean, you're talking about the birth of a nation with the May Revolution in 1810, where Argentinians first asserted their dream of independence. This is where Evita spoke passionately from the balcony of Casa Rosada to the packed crowds below. It's seen military coup attempts and absolutely wild riots. But it's not just the plaza here that makes this place so important.
Well, you guys have heard of the White House, but what about the Pink House?
This one is the Pink House, and it has the same function as the White House, but only in Argentina. And in front of it, it's the beautiful Plaza de Mayo. This one also has a sad story because Las Madres de la Plaza de Mayo. In the 70s, during the dictatorship over here, a lot of people disappeared. So their mothers, they were asking where the body was from their kids.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find it. And they were coming over here. And it's a sad story, but it's something that if you're more curious, just try to find information about it. But it's something that impressed me.
Yeah, because that also happened in Chile too, you know? And that was something that wasn't taught in U.S. history to us. And I was shocked when I learned that and U.S.'s involvement. Oh my gosh, go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, this is a really cool place to explore. But now we're going to be heading to another neighborhood that we haven't been to yet, Recoleta.
Looking forward to that one.
And if you thought that this looked like Paris, I guess just wait till we get over there.
That's right. In Recoleta, there's this little place we want to see called Ateneo Grand Splendid, which has been named the most beautiful bookstore in the world. And that makes sense. Buenos Aires is among the cities with the highest number of bookstores per person in the world, with more than 700 brick-and-mortar establishments.
This theater opened in 1919 and immediately became a beacon of porteño culture, hosting ballet, opera, and the first talkies shown in Buenos Aires. By the 2000s, it converted into this bookstore that contains over 120,000 books while preserving the original decorations and frescoes.
And the cool thing about this place is you can actually have a coffee on the stage.
Yeah, it's super cool, and I was surprised when I found out it was Havana, a place that we are not too unfamiliar with, actually. So you see, behind the scenes, Martina and I have been kind of on this journey of trying all the packaged alfajores that we've found in all the convenience stores and everything.
Too many. We're a little bit ashamed of admitting it.
Because here in Argentina, you can do alfajores in a package, or you can do alfajores in a bakery that are fresh. Honestly, the ones in the bakery are going to be better, but it's kind of fun to try the packaged ones so we can figure out what ones to take home.
Normally the ones in the packaged ones, you're going to find it in a Costco, but it's like little stores over here that they're like every corner.
Not Costco, Kiosco.
Kiosco.
But Havana, they don't sell theirs like in other places. They only sell them in their stores, and they have been our favorite ones that we've tried.
They're the more fancy ones, like call it like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a package back home.
Yeah, I know, but we're trying to figure out which flavor to get. So right now we're trying the super dulce de leche because the more the merrier.
Because dulce de leche alone, it's not enough.
That was really, really hot. I burned my tongue. And, you know, coming here to be able to eat on the stage is a super cool experience, but I wouldn't say this is the best cafe that you're going to find in Buenos Aires. I mean, the coffee scene here has been unreal. Truly, if you guys want a recommendation for the best cafe that we've found on our trip, it has to be Oli Cafe, the one that we showed in our Palermo video. Incredible, but we've gone to dozens of incredible places with the best pastries, which is why we're making a guide down below in the description, 55 plus pages. It's downloadable and it gives you recommendations for all the cafes, the steakhouses, plus tons of tips like what to do about your phone plan, how to exchange money, which is a whole section, different places we went to dance tango, etc. So pick it up if you're interested in coming to Buenos Aires, because there's a lot more that we could talk about than what we've been able to show in this video. I swear, Martin has read half that bookstore already. He loves to read. And it took everything in me not to buy the book about the couple that falls in love in Patagonia, some romance book.
Yeah, that's right.
It's totally my style, but we have a lot of walking to do and we can't carry too much baggage.
Yeah, Juliana loves to read books about the place.
Well, specifically romance books about places I've traveled or are going to travel to.
That's right.
Anyway, but the reason we're here in Recoleta is because we really want to see just the neighborhood and walk around. So we're gonna just stroll, look up, try not to trip. Wow, these buildings are crazy.
Tell me this is not beautiful. I'm impressed of how much greenery, how many trees there are in Buenos Aires as a whole, like the different parks, and that's important for people that they live in big city. They need things like this. Especially look at this tree; it's huge, and the roots they look like walls. It's beautiful. This part of the city is huge and we're loving it.
I can't believe we waited this long to see Recoleta. Now I'm like, I wish we spent more time here.
Also it's full of dogs, which we love.
Yes, it's a little dog parade going on. We're loving it. But there's still one more thing we want to see in Recoleta and it might surprise you.
It's a cemetery. I know, it doesn't sound like, wow, that's amazing to watch. But this one is different.
Yeah, trust us. What the...
We have to say today is a national day in Argentina, national holiday in Argentina. So we're lucky to see this.
Dang, I thought we were lucky with the dog parade with all the dogs, but then there's this horse parade. Well, a real parade.
So 8,270 pesos each. A little bit more than $8 each to enter over here, and they give you a little map. Here, in the heart of Recoleta, lies a city within a city. But this one is not for the living. This is a maze of tiny alleys lined by the most detailed mausoleums you've ever seen. It's no surprise that some of Argentina's most important historical figures, presidents, and artists can be found here. I've seen photos and videos about this place, and I thought there was like one or two, maybe 10, that they were like this way, like this mausoleos. But no, it's like a little city, all of them. It's beautiful, every single place that you look. I know, kind of creepy, but still beautiful.
And over here is one very, very important grave that we want to see.
One of the most famous people buried there is Eva Perón, commonly known as Evita, the beloved First Lady of Argentina who championed labor rights and women's suffrage.
So that cemetery was way cooler than we expected. I'm glad we went there. We almost didn't. But we kind of have this idea. There's a mall next door. And I think if we play our cards right, we might be able to have a pretty cool view of the cemetery. You in the mood for hamburgers?
Not really.
I was right. And hey, you can have a hamburger while you enjoy the view too.
But we have another lunch plans for today. Actually, we're going to another neighborhood. So we head to the other side of Buenos Aires, La Boca, which means mouth in Spanish. This was once quite literally the mouth of Buenos Aires. It's located on what used to be the city's biggest port, where products, goods, and immigrants arrived by the shipload in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Those immigrants set up shop in the surrounding vicinity, working the docks and building homes from the scrap materials and paints left over from shipbuilding.
So this is a much more colorful neighborhood, and there are so many people around here. We're expecting to see lots of tango, lots of colors, but first things first, we need to eat something because that alfajor this morning was not enough to fuel us up for the adventures we have ahead. Amor, lots of blue and yellow over here. What's the deal with that?
That's right, it's like, this is the neighborhood of Boca Juniors. So you're gonna see a lot of these colors, especially because it's game day today. And of course, we're attending to that game. But you guys gonna need to wait because that's not the video of this day. It's gonna be the upcoming week.
It's immediately obvious that the football team Boca Juniors absolutely runs this neighborhood in a way that makes me now understand why they call this game a religion in Argentina. These streets are where dreams of playing for the mighty Boca Juniors begin. And who knows, we may be witnessing the very next Maradona right now as we try to find a spot to eat.
Impressions, I see you smiling.
This is nice. We're like in a terrace over here and there's a heater that's good for Juliana.
Yeah, and there's some crazy crowds at some of these places, but I heard this spot is really good and it's at least a little quieter.
It's very nice.
Sure, it's a little bit touristy, but it's a cool place. The only thing to keep in mind here, though, is that the Caminito area itself is okay to walk through. There's plenty of police and stuff, but the surrounding area does tend to be a little bit more dangerous, I guess. So just be careful if you have a cell phone. You know, don't be like flashing it all around. And in speaking of cell phones, actually one huge tip that we learned during this trip, we'd never done this before, we did an eSIM. Oh my gosh, total game changer. We didn't even need to go into a cell phone store. We didn't have to deal with putting our phone in airplane mode and only finding Wi-Fi. And it's been so useful because to get around Buenos Aires, we've been using Uber. I mean, some of the rides have been like $1. You could also do public transportation, but with the cost of Uber, it made sense to use it. If you guys are interested in signing up for an eSIM, whether you're coming here to Buenos Aires or going somewhere else in the world, Olafly was a really great company that we used. We love that here, especially since we're going to a few different countries in South America. We are able to use the same plan everywhere. And best of all, there's a 5% discount if you use the code TOURISTLOCAL, and it helps our channel out. So anyway, empanada time. Good. Muy rico, gracias. I got picanha because I'm just so excited for our trip to Brazil. I'm like already getting ready for the Brazilian meat. Martin got the lomo. He's been loving that lately. Food here is great. I mean, it's not the best steak we've had in Argentina. There's been tough competition. Martin and I are becoming a little bit of meat snobs, but it's good, especially because you're in a touristy area. And I heard a lot of the restaurants here in this area aren't that great. But can we have a moment of silence for all the meat we've had to leave behind? My God, it's been difficult to ever finish a plate here. The portions are insane. Look it, I have a whole other picanha. Oh my God.
We entered into Caminito and it's full of color, smells, and noises.
This neighborhood is tourist bait for sure, but heck, we are tourists today, so we might as well lean into it. So we enjoy the overly saturated colors on the street and watch a couple tango artists. But we're skipping the souvenir t-shirts, because if it's shopping we want to do, well, there's a much better place for that.
The next day, we're back in San Telmo. Even though we roamed through this neighborhood a few weeks back, we heard so many recommendations to see the Sunday Feria de San Telmo. Imagine a street-side market of artisan crafts, vintage goods, and antiques that go on for blocks.
And the real reason I wanted to come back to this neighborhood is because there's a really good vintage store that has a lot of good stuff, and maybe I'm gonna pick up something.
Show to the public too.
So much leather stuff, oh my God.
Martine, you want to tell the world the truth about how you spend your time when we're back at home and not filming?
Yes, I work very, very hard.
And then every week you go.
I go to a thrift store.
Martine's favorite thing about the US, I think, is the thrift store.
Yeah, I like it. I enjoy it. I download a podcast that I like, and after work I go over there once a week and I just play my podcast and I find treasures.
Okay, so Thrift King has found yet another amazing find.
This is Juliana's. It's quite nice.
It's a super cute vest. They're really in trend right now.
Yeah, it's nice. And I just find like
You
for the
know,
cold, you know?
a vintage Burberry. We're just gonna ignore the fact that he just found a vintage Burberry.
Yeah, it's alright. I mean,
I mean, look at this, guys. You always have such good luck. You're a magnet for these finds.
that's why I love it. So we're here at Mercado San Telmo again to try more food. And because this week we've tried so many empanadas and meat with the asado, we decided to try a choripan. Yesterday that we attended to the game, we remember how much we like this thing. And we're in La Choripaneria. The line, my God, it's so long. A little bit stressful, but good. There's so many underrated places over here to eat in this Mercado San Telmo. We already showed you guys a couple in our food tour guide that we showed a couple of weeks ago. Don't forget to watch that video. Anyways, we also find an antique place where we find a couple of things. Juliana likes to collect some postcards and photos from the places that we visit, especially if they're old and they have written where they were taking those photos, or if there's a little message in the back. And for me, I like to collect some bills and coins, which there were many.
Oh wow, this one they put like onions and stuff. This is pretty good.
Well, we may have had to eat that in on the edge of this construction site because there's no seats, but what are your thoughts?
The chori was so good. I think it was worth it, that moment of stress that we were living over there. But it has a lot of flavor. I didn't like that they put like some vegetables on it. For me, it has to be simple, just the bread, just the chorizo, and the chimichurri, that's it. But it's good. I really like Buenos Aires. It's a dynamic city with a lot to see, a lot to do. and of course, great food, great people. I don't know, it's becoming one of my favorite cities. How about you, Juliana?
I think Buenos Aires has ruined us for all other Latin American cities. It's truly the ideal city. I mean, spending a few weeks here, we've fallen in love with it. Martina and I have looked so forward to visiting this city one day. It's been kind of a pipe dream of ours for many years. And besides the fact there's dog poop everywhere, truly, it has everything. It has parks, it has great food, the passion of tango. I mean, we said it in our first video of this whole series, the passion of the city. That's what makes it stand out.
Another thing that I like to say is that everyone over here is wearing their football colors, you know? They're not afraid of show which team they support. I always do that where I live.
Yeah,
Juliana gets annoyed.
Yeah, well, but didn't your dad say that he thinks you are Argentinian?
Yeah, my father said like I live the football like Argentinians do because I'm too passionate for being Mexican. But we still have a couple of dog poop. But we still have a couple more places to show and to look. This one, it's gonna be a good one. Let's check it out.
This is Palacio Barolo, a building designed by Italian immigrant Mario Palanti in 1923. What makes this place interesting is that it was inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy, which means it takes you on a journey, quite literally, from hell to heaven. There are 22 floors divided into 3 sections. The basement and ground floor represent hell, and include many dark colors and demonic symbolism. Floors 1 through 14 are purgatory, and they're used today as office space. I'm sure anyone who has ever felt trapped in their cubicle can relate to that symbolism. And floors 15 to 22 represent heaven, full of light and panoramic views, a fitting reward for reaching the divine summit.
How do you like it so far?
Gorgeous. Now I understand why you should come during sunset. Today is a little bit cloudy, but still beautiful.
And Martin being Martin, I just want to spot as many stadiums or fields. Only 2 so far. And you can go even higher. A couple floors up from here, there's a lighthouse that lets out 5,000 watts of light nightly, symbolizing that flash of white Dante sees when getting into heaven. If you're interested in coming here, just know that it's necessary to book a tour with Palacio Barolo since you cannot just enter this building on your own. Now our time is almost done in Buenos Aires, but there's still one neighborhood we haven't yet explored. Puerto Madero.
Well, mi amor, we finally got to see the water that everybody talks about here.
But we cannot see it because
really.
it's night.
We're in Puerto Madero, another popular neighborhood. Lots of waterfront restaurants, and we're currently wandering trying to find a place to eat.
That's right, the one that originally we had planned. It's closed and they open till 8 o'clock, but we're very hungry, so we're going to another one.
And I think it actually has a better view.
Yeah.
So according to the Porteños, this bridge, the bridge of the woman, Puente de la Mujer, was designed to look like some tango dancers. Is that right?
That is correct.
I don't see it.
You can see a little bit more like a Michael Jackson doing this.
Oh my God. That's creative. I mean, Hey you guys, I'm all meated out. I gotta tap out, you guys. I've eaten nothing but meat for the past couple weeks. Martin's still going with his lomo, but I wanted to sample some of the Italian influence of Argentina. And here at Puerto Cristal, it's a great spot because not only do you have a view of the bridge, you can have Italian food like these delicious raviolis, or as they call them, Sorrentinos?
Sorrentinos.
Yeah, I've never seen that word. You can also have some delicious meat. They also have seafood. But my favorite part about this restaurant is from the moment that we arrived, they have played nothing but Taylor Swift songs, all Taylor's version, including the 10-minute All Too Well version. I have been singing along and Martina's been very annoyed, but Swifties are doing well here in Buenos Aires and I am eating good tonight.
And because my mom didn't raise a quitter, I'm having over here my steak. It looks delicious. Delicious, as usual.
Hey, mi amor, I think you are accidentally on the keto diet.
I think I do.
I mean, it's super big here, I've heard.
That's right. Whenever we're back home, I will have all the vegetables that I want.
He thought about it a bit and he has some news to share with us.
Breaking news. Probably it's the best steak I had in Argentina.
Really?
So good. It's so juicy, nice, tender, full of flavor.
Well, it is a good thing that the other place didn't work out then.
Totally. Big mistake. Huge. No.
And that's a wrap on top things to do in Buenos Aires.
I have to admit that I'm a little sad to leave this place.
I know. You guys still have one more video to see though, our football match next week, and we've already lived the experience and you're not gonna wanna miss that one.
That's right. We're gonna leave another video over here so you can still watch our adventures.
So long.
Travel well.
And make the world your neighborhood. See you guys next time.
Bye.